Hello my bookish lovelies, Kira here, and today I'm going to be doing Meet the Community book tag. I was tagged by Sarah over at Voyage Through Worlds, and I'm going to leave her link to her channel down in the description below. Originally this tag was created by Witch Kitten. I'll leave her link to her original video down below. So basically this is a tag just to kind of get to know the person like me better, and so I kind of was really excited when I got tagged by this, so thank you Sarah for tagging me, and we'll go ahead and just get into the questions. Sorry, I just had to go through and change my battery. Story of my life. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the questions. First of all, my name is Kira, and okay, so that's the first question. Where are you from? I actually currently reside in Florida, and it's really hot out there right now. Next question is your pets. I actually don't really consider them pets. I actually consider them my children, and they're two little furry bunnies. Well, actually one of them is not so little. She's about 7.5 pounds. I'm gonna put a picture of her. Her name's Poppy, and she's actually a rescue from a meat farm. So she's a little bit more aggressive because most of the meat farm rabbits, they tend to be a lot more aggressive. They were in a lot more traumatic, harsher conditions than regular hand-fed rabbits, and she is no exception. She also is extremely obsessed with eating food. Rabbits by nature are grazers, so they eat a lot of hay, and she is constantly eating. She loves her food. At one point, she used to spend a lot more time in my room. I'm allergic to the hay, but I can handle them, so I have to keep the hay in a separate area. When I first got her, I kept everything in the same area, and it led to a lot of asthmatic issues. And I used to wake up in the middle of the night after I just fed her, and she would be staring at me, waiting for me to feed her again about 3 o'clock in the morning. So she is my little piggy bun. Shortly after I got her, I ended up getting my other child, my other little fur baby, Alaska, who actually is a deaf rabbit. And the reason why I know that she's deaf is because if you clap behind her, she is not bothered by anything. Also, when she's sleeping, she is out cold. You basically have to kind of thump the ground to cause vibration so that she can feel it in order for her to wake up, because rabbits startle kind of easily, so I try to approach her very delicately when she is sleeping. She is actually the complete opposite of Poppy. She's my little snuggler. Poppy cannot handle being picked up. She hates it. And whereas Alaska is very, very snuggly. She was more of a hand-raised rabbit. She came from a breeder, and I am so grateful that I've had her. She has a lot of health issues off and on, so we have had to do countless trips to the vet when she needs it, because rabbits, if you wait even 12 to 24 hours, that can be the difference between life and death for a rabbit, because they are very delicate animals, so they can die very quickly. Currently, my rabbits are both 7 years old. They're getting to be senior buns. I've had them for a long time. I love them to pieces. They are just part of my world, and I couldn't imagine life without them. The next question is most binge-worthy Netflix show. Well, I think that depends on when you catch me. A few months ago, it was Stranger Things. I had to get caught up on Stranger Things. Currently, it is Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys know that I have been obsessed. I actually finished watching it the other day, and I started it over again. I absolutely love Avatar: The Last Airbender. I just think it's just such a wonderful show. It's so positive, and it's just got so many wonderful characters. The character development is fantastic. And as far as my favorite characters, I actually really like Aang, because he's a 12-year-old boy who is struggling to find his place as the Avatar. And this is very disjointing for him because at the very heart of things, he's a 12-year-old boy. He just wants to be a kid. I really like seeing his growth throughout the series. Sokka, I really like this too. Sokka at the beginning of the series was very chauvinistic, and a few episodes in, he meets the Kyoshi warriors and completely changes his tune. There's just so much character growth throughout this. They just feel like such real characters, and this is probably one of the best things that Nickelodeon has ever created, and I'm just completely obsessed. The next question is instant by author. I actually have a few answers for this. First of all, Brandon Sanderson is a big one for me. He is just I've loved everything that he's written. I love like the worlds he builds, the magic systems. I love how immersive they are. I love how like he doesn't try to complicate things. He portrays very complex magic systems very fluently and very clearly, which is one of the things I really love about it. Like I can just sit back and just enjoy the story and not really have to think too much. Another auto-buy author for me is actually Victoria Schwab. I have read a lot of her books. I've actually read most of them, and I love pretty much everything that I have read by her. Really appreciate her writing and the worlds that she builds and everything else. So basically, like I have 2 auto-buy authors, like, and I'm hoping like to expand that like this year and to next year. I'm actually doing a group buddy read with some friends from over on Twitter, and we're actually going to be starting N.K. Jemisin, which has been like on my list of things like that I really want to get to. And from what I've heard, like people just love her too. So I'm hoping like that, like once I get done reading some of her books, like that she will also be put onto my auto-buy author list. I actually have a lot of the things that she's published. I just haven't gotten to them because I went to this used bookstore a while back, and I was trading stuff in, and they had them there and they had them available, and so I basically didn't have to pay a whole lot to get them. So they've just kind of been like on my back burner, like me just kind of working my way getting to them. So I'm really excited for our buddy read, and it's actually starting very soon. I'm not sure like when this video is going up, so it might have already taken place by the time it's going on, but it's going to be an ongoing thing. Like we have a whole list of like stuff to read, so I'm really excited about that. Actually, Sarah, the one that tagged me, is going to be buddy reading stuff with us, so I'm really excited for that. Another question is hobbies besides books. What do I do besides read? Is sleeping considered a hobby? Is it? I guess like, I don't know, like social media. Is social media even considered a hobby? Because like, I don't know. I do a little bit of bullet journaling, like for like to keep track of my reading and stuff. So I do that. I like to write sometimes. I actually want to make that more of a hobby like in the future. I used to write poetry a lot, and I kind of got away from it. It used to be a great outlet for me. So I used to write a lot of poetry, and it was I don't know how good they were. I was pretty proud of them, and I felt like they did capture things like that I was feeling. So I think that's like usually the most important thing about poetry. I used to write stories a little bit too. I kind of got out of that, but I want to get back into that because like I have stuff floating around in my mind that I really like want to get down on paper. I just have to, like, my thing is like a lot of the stories like that I have floating around, like they don't like really have like much of a, they're more of just an idea. Like right now they don't have like a direction because I haven't done the research, and they're the ones like that I want to do. Of course, like I never make anything easy on myself, so I have a lot of research ahead of me, like if I want to get any of them down on paper. The next question is random fact that most people don't know. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology from University of Florida. I have gone ziplining in Costa Rica at one point, and that was pretty much like the extent of my out of the country excursions, but I got trapped there for for a few extra days because like it was really rainy, and everything in Costa Rica like has to do with the rain. So I actually I actually went there by myself for the most of it. I spent a few days with some friends, and I actually got to camp out in the rainforest, and I stayed with the Bribri Princess, which is a tribe down in Calamaca area, like which is about an hour above Panama. So I was all over the countryside, and it was like one of the best adventures of my entire life. And given my diet and stuff like that, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do anything like that again, but I will always hold it close. Favorite bookish nerdy swag. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off. This is something like that. Ooh, I hurt Baymax. Oh, okay, it's okay guys, Baymax is fine. Okay, so it's actually this. This is actually from Priori of the Orange Tree. I always have it in my background. This was an Illumicrate exclusive, and I actually had to order this separately from every other box, but I think that this is like one of the most beautiful prints like that I've ever seen. And the second I saw it, I knew that I had to have it. So this is like always kind of hanging out like in my background. I actually really loved Priori of the Orange Tree. Like it's one of those books like that I liked it when I finished it, but over time, like, my love for it has just grown bigger. So this is definitely like by far like one of my favorite things. I kept it in the plastic because like I was like worried it was gonna get dust on it and stuff, so I was very protective. So this is actually probably like one of my most favorite things that I have. Another thing too that I really love as far as like bookish swag goes is I've done quite a few book boxes, and I have a ton of blankets. All of which like I've at one point unboxed on this channel, but I've got a ton of blankets from the book boxes, and typically like when I look to invest in a book box, that is like the main thing that I am looking for is the blankets, because like the blankets are awesome. Like they make great backgrounds like when you're taking pictures. They're fuzzy and cuddly, and I am just such a sucker for blankets. Like I can never have enough blankets. Even if I have a ton of blankets, I will never have enough blankets. The next question is one book or series that nobody talks about. I actually don't have a physical copy of this book. It is called The Story of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang, and I'm going to leave a picture of that. I actually read this on my Kindle, so I don't actually have a physical copy, but I would love to get a physical copy eventually. I read it several years back, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Arrival, Amy Adams. There's actually a short story in this book that movie is based off of. And it's what made me want to read this collection of short stories. It is actually a collection of short stories all by Ted Chiang. It's not an anthology, and they're science fiction short stories, and I really loved every short story. They're mind-bending, they're enlightening, they're like a great combination of both emotional and mentally stimulating literature. So I really love everything in this. Like I just thought it was so amazing. Like I usually hate short story collections, and I usually hate anthologies. Like I'm not a huge fan of anthologies, usually because by the time I get into the story, like it's over. But these stories, like they just hooked me from the get-go. Like I just felt completely immersed by them. And he recently came out with another short story collection called Exhalation. And I read that earlier this year. I'm glad I finally got to that one. Honestly, like, it was good, but it wasn't the story of your life and others good. So by far and above, like, The Story of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang has got to be one book that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but I adore it, and it's another book that I would love for everyone to read. The next question is to tag 3 booktubers. I'm going to tag Sophie Snow from Sophie Snow, Lindsay from Lindsay's Lovely Library, and Erica from Arabucks. So those links to all those channels are in the description below. Please go check out these wonderful booktubers. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, hit the little like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon if you guys want to receive emails every single time I post. I'm also on Instagram, Amazon, Twitter, and Goodreads. Those links are linked in the description below, and I will see you guys again very soon.